Welcome back to Midwest Girls.
Hey guys.
I say it the same way every time, I've noticed.
You know what? And I usually go, hey there. So I said, hey guys this time.
Well, I still said Midwest Girls.
You know, but you do get in a rut of saying something a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yes.
Anytime me, Kylie, or Beth walk into the door or a room, my kids even know that's what we do. Hey.
Hey.
It's how we greet each other.
Yes. Hey, how we doing?
Hey, how we doing? Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Nerds.
Here's something random we didn't talk about, but we were just talking about our subbing day.
We both subbed today.
Yes, and Leanne did too in high school.
That's great.
But we didn't get to see her as much. But I think the other teachers are really, if they didn't already know, they're picking up on that we're friends. Because we tend to congregate toward each other.
So funny.
But then they always laugh, and they'll usually say something like, "Oh, that must be so fun," or something like that.
Someone like one of my first subbing jobs, actually, they had just picked up that we were close, and they were asking me like questions about you, and I was like, "Oh, this, you know that we're friends." So I don't know.
love the small town.
It's exactly it. It's a small town. So funny. Yeah, and the kids usually get me confused with Leanne. Are you Mrs. Archinal?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm not.
They do, because they'll ask me, is it Mrs. Archinal or Mrs. Bear? This was when Leanne and I were both in 5th grade. I'm like, Mrs. Archinal.
I don't see it, but other people do.
It's your personalities.
That could be.
They're similar.
Are they?
Like the first layer.
The first layer.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like how you come across.
Yeah. I can see that. And not that, not that it's a bad thing, but it's whatever. Hey, Leanne. You know what I'm saying. Okay. So today, we're kind of embracing fall.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about something that is kind of always on my heart, but is more so when we get into fall and approach the holidays. Mm-hmm. And I decided to title it Comfort and Calm. And to start, I just kind of went, well, what are the definitions of comfort and calm? So let's just go to the good old dictionary and look up comfort first. Old Webster. Comfort is a state of physical ease and freedom from pain or constraint. The easing or alleviation of a person's feelings of grief or distress. I'm like, okay, that's good. A state of physical ease, but also of feeling there. So hitting on two,
it's kind of hitting on it all.
Yeah. And then calm is not showing or feeling nervousness, anger, or other strong emotions. And when you're speaking of a calm place, it is peaceful, especially in contrast to recent violent activity. Interesting, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I know that violent activity sounds kind of dramatic almost, but I took it as anytime we as Christians leave the house, ask my kids, every morning we put on the full armor of God. So I kind of went, praise God, true physical violent activity, few and far between.
Yeah.
But we walk out into a world where there is a very real enemy. So I kind of took that to heart. Like my home, when my kids come home, when I come home, should be a place where that ceases, where Jesus reigns. So, okay, let me gather my thoughts. So fall is here, and I want to dig into how we as Christian women, men if you're listening to, I don't think there's too many, how do we embrace this idea of comfort and calm in our lives, in our homes, and how can we bless the people in our lives with providing a place like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I was joking with Kylie, like it's a bit of a fluff episode, but at the end of the day, I actually feel like this is a big part of my calling.
Yeah.
Is to create a comforting, calming place for people to be. So here we go. When fall comes, I turn in. Mm-hmm. Do you?
Yes.
Okay. I tuck in. I want to be home more. I want to eat good food. I want to light a candle. And it's kind of as we're watching the leaves change. I think something innately, ooh, my battery's running low. Innately in us that God created us also is toning down. So it's nature. That's the dog. Anywho, so I thought of, have you guys ever heard of the Danish word hugga? Mm-mm. Okay, so this is the Danish concept of coziness, especially in relation to one's home. And it's so prominent that it's a tenet of Danish culture. And if you Pinterest this, it's spelled Hygge. There are so many articles about this. Like, I've been pinning them for about a year now. And I'm kind of obsessed with this idea. Yeah. It's that feeling of, like, when you're sitting on the couch and you've got fuzzy socks on. It's socks. Fuzzy socks. Stop. Edit that.
I know, I can't.
Oh, no. Anywho, fuzzy socks and a cup of coffee or cocoa on the couch is hugga. So, and then it inspired me to think, if it's so relevant in Danish culture, what would it look like if it was so relevant to Americans that we were known culturally for this? Because we're not. Mm-mm. We are known culturally for
the busy American.
So I'm called to be anti-cultural. Mm-hmm. I'm called to not look like the world. Yeah. And I think that kind of falls into, I do feel like this is a calling of mine. So how do we do this? I think it's a privilege to basically be the heart and the soul of our homes. Mm-hmm. It's me personally. Everyone kind of feels different about this. You could go into the whole feminism. You're just a homebody, homemaker, uneducated, whatever, bimbo. I don't fall for that. No. I feel like there is a grace and what is the word I'm looking for? Nobility to it, almost. Mm-hmm. It is a noble calling. So I've kind of just become a working mom this year from being a homeschool mom, and I'm learning, how do I do this now?
The balance.
Yeah, and a really easy way to do that is think of the 5 senses. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. So, one, how can I serve my family in regards to how they feel at home? And as silly as it sounds, those 5 senses you learned in kindergarten, those are the things that inspire comfort and calm.
It's true.
So, let's think fall. Smell. What do you do?
Yeah. I always have the windows open.
Yep.
Candles.
Yep.
I am not the biggest cook, but my husband is, and we kind of tag team this. Mm-hmm. But when he cooks, he does like to cook people. But so don't throw.
And he's good.
And he's very good.
He does a good smoked brisket.
Yes.
It was delicious.
And he loves making any kind of soup or stew or, just a good hearty meal. And so when I think of fall, I also think of like maybe chili in the crock pot.
Yeah.
Or this other Italian soup that he makes. The dust from the fields.
Yep.
I love fall. It just instantly makes me happy thinking about it. The trees, you can smell the leaves.
Yes, that has a smell.
Yes.
For sure.
I cried to the girls when I had COVID, and it was like 8 months after I had it, and I still couldn't smell the leaves.
Seriously.
So.
But those are things that inspire a sense. Mm-hmm. People call it nostalgia, but I think it's actually comfort.
Yes.
In you. I'm the same way for the smells. This Sunday, I got up early enough before church that I put a pot roast in the crock pot. Yeah. I kid you not, when I pulled in the garage,
you could smell it. I
could smell it.
Yeah.
And I was so ready to come inside, sit with my family, because some of them half went to church, half didn't because of sickness, and just sit down and have a meal with them. Like, my house was inviting me in.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to talk about is your home inviting you in? Is it inviting your family in, your friends, your visitors?
Because nobody likes a stinchy smell.
No.
And I know there's things that happen, like my house is old. It's kind of hard to, sometimes it just stinks. In the summertime, there's just a natural smell to it.
Yes.
That stinks.
My first house was old too. I understand. It's kind of musty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I've never smelled your house.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I know our garage smells like manure because there is manure.
I don't notice that, but I also don't notice manure smell really anymore.
Well, it just can't be helped. It's just part of my life. It's where the clothes go. So I'm not bringing them in the house.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anywho, so smell. Think in your own life, what can you do in your home to cultivate smell? There you go. Sight. All right. I'm not putting the finger at you if I'm not pointing it back at me, because Kylie can even see that my house is messy right now. But a messy house does not invite in a sense of calm or well-being. And I can't stand knowing that I need to sweep my floors right now. And like I said, I'm adjusting from being a homeschool mom to a working mom, and I haven't gotten it yet. So kudos to you, have been doing it forever. I salute you. So find a way to at least keep the areas of your home where the most life is happening clean. Yeah. And decluttered. Yeah. That's a big one for me.
That's a huge one.
I cannot stand the look of clutter. Yeah. There's certain spots in my house where it tends to gather. The Hoosier and the counters drives me crazy. And so I try to stay on top of like papers, mail, the kids' papers, which I actually just threw away one of Leslie's that she needed actually. So that bit me in the tookish. Yeah. But anywho.
Another one, which this is this is like a grace thing for you guys. So Meg came over to my house not that long ago to record, and she opened my fridge, and I hate a messy fridge, and it was like falling out stuff.
It wasn't falling out.
It was very cool. You know, there was some things I just had no motivation because of the headspace I was in lately at that time, especially. And it took me a while to give myself grace for that. But when you're in those headspaces, so this is almost a call to just, I know things happen and pile up, but you know, when you stay on top of things, when you are in the, you know, the right, you know, in your happy-go-lucky kind of mood for a while, when you keep up with those things, when you get hit by a wall of like maybe depression or just like gloomy days, like one after another, you know, it doesn't seem as overwhelming, because I don't do well when clutter's around the house. It's hard for me to be able to sit, and especially if I'm getting hit by that wave, that gloom, because that just adds another thing in my head. This house is
I need to do this too. Yeah, for sure. I think once we reach a level of functionality versus having it be perfect, that's big. So yes, while my floors might be dirty, at least it's still decent. And I've only achieved that kind of down here. Don't go look at my closets. I'm not saying that. I am not trying to like say, look how great I am here. I'm trying
the main living spaces.
Yeah, I'm trying to just inspire us all to not to embrace the home of it. So, bring your family in on this. I think especially as women, we feel like, well, I got to do it all. I've been way more, as the kids are getting older, handing them like legit jobs to do. Like, okay, you're cleaning the bathroom, you're sweeping, you're dusting. And I used to struggle with guilt about that. Like, oh no, they're little. I'm like, no, they need to learn work. Yeah. They need to learn work.
I think another one that women struggle with is either the guilt or it's not going to be done
the right way.
The right way.
Yep. And that is true, and you kind of just got to get over it.
Yeah, right. I struggled with that.
Not going for perfect, going for functional. Yeah. And if they're learning it and they're proud of it, for you to come in and like redo it,
kind of takes them down.
Kind of hurts them. Yeah. So the kids are in charge of making their beds every day. Adam is spot on. The girls struggle. I bet they're not even made right now. But that is one thing I do every day. I make my bed every day because I feel it's almost a retreat for me. Like there's stuff in life going on down here, which I generally want to be a part of. But every now and then, I'm an introvert. I need to just like get away for 20 minutes. I feel like I can go to my room. Especially if the bed is made. Yeah. Well, that just invites me in. Yeah. So, I don't like to hear the TV all the time. Yeah. Not that it's on all the time, but if the kids are having their time. Yeah. No. I don't want to hear the cartoons.
Yeah, the cartoons.
And Preston. Do you know what I'm talking about, people? Preston plays on YouTube if your kids are into Minecraft. Oh my gosh.
I've never seen.
He's so loud and talks at a decibel just like this the whole time. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it drives me crazy.
That would drive me crazy.
I know, Preston, you're doing great things, but you're driving me crazy. So one of the obvious fall things that you, me, and Beth and Leanne all get excited about is the decor.
Yes.
What do you put out?
Oh gosh. I feel like for the most part, like the typical everyday decoration, mine's pretty simple. But in the fall and Christmas, I let myself throw up all over my house. So I have fake flowers. Well, I usually sometimes will have real flowers. Right now I don't have real flowers, but fake flowers, real flowers, pumpkins. I guess I have real flowers outside. Wagons full of little apples, like the fake little gourds and baskets and just anything brown and yellow and orange and just books. I have old books decorating.
I like your built-ins.
Yes.
How you have those decked out with fall right now.
Yeah.
It's really
That's
cute.
what I mean by like the throw up. Like that's where I really throw up.
But it's like, so pretty. Like that's the space that's meant for that.
Yeah.
And like having those spaces in your home, like I said, I don't do well with clutter. So if I started just attacking my house with fall decor, it would probably actually stress me out. Yeah. But there's designated places in my house that I always decorate. One of them being above my closet. Yeah. You guys can't see it. But there's this ledge my house is open concept and it goes up right there. And there's this ledge that you can see from the living room and the dining room.
Oh, you have tractors.
Yeah, I have tractors up there. Pumpkins, lights, a harvest, swag. I always decorate that seasonally. I do simple things on the table, the coffee table, just things like that. Like pick designated spots in your home because there's a way to do it and there's not a way to do it. And I'm not being snobbish as I say this. I love Hobby Lobby, but I find myself trending away from that.
Yeah, me too.
I want antiques.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see Hobby Lobby stuff right now. So obviously
I have it hanging up in mine
sometimes you just want the sign that says hello because it's cute. But I've been liking true old things.
Well, what I like about them too, a lot of the old things, like I said, the tractors, because they probably were passed down from family members.
They were Jesse's.
And so Seth, we have some of his that were his uncles. Yeah. So we have old antique toy tractors too that decorated, but we keep. There's a lot. So this is like this year, I kind of went in with the thought of, okay, here's my everyday. Some of these things are going to be put away, but these are the things that are going to be out all year long.
Yes.
And so then I just plug in the color.
Yeah.
And we built those shelves. We needed the storage underneath for some blankets, but we have 1 million blankets and we still don't have room for it. But we built the shelves with me knowing, and Seth, but knowing the intention of I'm going to be decorating. These are my spots that I'm going to have to fill. Yeah. Like whether it be antiques, whether it be for fall or Christmas lights, all the things. Like I know this is my sacred spot. Like my main sacred spot for my decor. I do the on top of the piano is another one, my hutch, and our little sailor rider desk that we have. That's all we really decorate though.
Yeah. And again, this may sound surfacey, but Jesse has actually, and this really meant a lot to me. I showed him something new I had picked up and I put it out and he looked at me, he said, you've always done that. Even in our little apartment, we had no money. I always made sure there was a scented candles, a seasonally scented candle out on the counter, and just little things. And he goes, I appreciate that. Yeah. And so it has blessed him. And I don't think that's not important. It is important because at the end of the day, when my family can come home, they can be calm. That's love. Yep. And I'm trying to show them love all the time. So
even though you don't get that, has he ever said anything like that about your candle or anything? So see, they noticed it. Because we don't hear it every day. Right. It doesn't mean that they don't appreciate it.
Right. It was, we've been married 15 years as of last week. And he, not that he's stingy with compliments, but he just decided to tell me that. Hi, Penny.
Right. Exactly. It's just like they notice.
They do.
And they just, take for granted, not actually, that's not the word I want to say. But once it's gone, if you would remove that, they would notice.
Yeah. So don't downplay the importance of keeping your home, I guess is what I'm really trying to say. Because in a turnaround way, that is showing the love of Christ. And we're going to hit on Proverbs 31, which if you're not familiar, is a wife of virtue. There's a reason it's in the Bible, guys. I believe this is a divine calling. Well, there it goes. I think we can do without it. So the next sense, we already kind of hit on it, taste. seasonal cooking.
Yeah.
The roasts, the stews. I do that too. Another one, and this is the shout out to Jesse and Jimmy, who are particularly crazy about it, is the pumpkin cake. Like, I do not make that. I don't make it any other time of year because it would take away from the occasion of it.
Yeah.
Even though Jesse would like it if I did. I'm like, nope. That starts mid-September. That's the earliest because I took it to Hockey Hills.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's when I had it before, but I don't know if it was the atmosphere or what. I'm like, this is amazing.
It's my grandma's recipe, and so I can't take credit for it. It is a good recipe. But what are those things that you make? Maybe they've been passed down. Like I said, that's my grandma's pumpkin cake recipe. At Christmas, we make a homemade candy that my family's been making for 100 years. And it's not only just good, it is a reason we get together.
Yeah.
So don't downplay what it means to cook and to bake. And even if you're not great or don't really enjoy it, those seasonal special things, I think we can all get on board with.
Yeah.
Like, make an occasion of it. So.
Yeah, because my family isn't a cooking family. I can't pinpoint like a time in the kitchen, like, oh, here we are baking. Like maybe the random cookies, chocolate chips, I remember licking the thing. But but we have other traditions and special things that we would do to get together, whether it be for a sports game. This is our the Snyder household time of year. Everybody loves Ohio State football.
Yes.
At least once a year, we try to all get together and watch a football game.
And there's probably food.
And there's always food.
Yes.
It's like the chip dip and chili. Chili is a big one for our family.
I was going to say, that's your family.
Yes.
Your mom makes the best chili.
Yes.
And your dad and you guys you stir it at the pumpkin festival, and I look forward to it.
Yes.
I started putting brown sugar in my chili because of your mom.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what is this?
It's addicting.
It's so good.
Yes. So I shouldn't say, okay, the one cooking tradition that I can think of other than mom's like chocolate chip cookies, her staple, is the chili.
Yeah. And that brings us comfort, doesn't it? It's just, like I said, we downplay it. And I really believe in my heart we should not. No. Maybe we don't. Maybe I'm saying that for no reason. But in this day and age, I feel like I almost have to defend it. Yeah. Which is kind of sad.
Well, it's because it is. Like, women, it's like, I don't know. We don't have to go down that road. But it just seems like some women, not all, are taking it to the extreme one way.
Yes.
And I don't care. You can be a CEO and still be a master in the household. Like, not master, maybe that's the wrong word, but you can do both. Now there's things there. I will say that if you are doing both, there are sacrifices that each thing will make. Yes. That's just the reality of dividing your time.
Yes. I think this is fitting. I actually wrote this down. This is Elizabeth Elliot. Along those lines, then we'll kind of get back to the senses. Let me be a woman. I love it. I know I've talked about it before. If you've watched us, I've underlined a lot. For the Christian woman, there is, whether married or single, I think we could take it the direction whether working or not working. Yeah. There is the call to serve. What this society needs is more emphasis on the need to serve others and provide tenderness, compassion, cooperation, and love. The woman who defines her liberation as doing what she wants or not doing what she doesn't want is in the first place evading responsibility. Ooh, that's kind of harmful. But it's true. Like along the feminism route, like it's actually being selfish and harmful. Yeah. To declare to deny what God has made us.
Right. Well, we were, created very differently than a man. Not that a man doesn't help around the house. That's something that is done, but it's done differently than what a woman does. She cultivates the home. Yes. And I was going somewhere with this. Oh, and as, if there's kids in the household, you as the mom are the one that's, usually that nurturing, that come here, baby. Yeah. But you're the one actually teaching them more hands-on on how to serve another person.
Yes, it's sacrificing. Yes. Whether it's kids, nieces, nephews, grandparents, at whatever stage of life you're in, we as women, I believe, we have that. I've heard it said before that men and women show very definite characteristics of God. And I believe women show his love and his self-sacrifice. Yes. So I wrote this. I think this is pretty good. Living within the rules of what God made me to be is actual freedom. Not what the world is telling me to be, but embracing my God-given call to be a woman, to be a mother, a wife, a daughter, working, all those things. When I embrace that, that's freedom. Fighting against what God made you to be only causes confusion.
Yes.
And there's a huge attack on our identities in so many ways in our culture, as our genders, our that's the biggest one I can think of.
Yeah.
But like
just roles.
The feminism, our roles. And I'm not saying like your husbands, please hear me. Like Jesse helps plenty. Like I'm not saying we need to roll over and be doormats here, but stop fighting it.
Yeah.
Embrace it. I've said it before on this podcast. You can either wake up and embrace what you're doing for the day with joy, or you can be bitter and fight it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, some of this stuff is redundant. I have to make dinner again. I can either choose to do it with joy, or I can do it with bitterness.
It's the one thing you can always be sure of.
Yeah. One of my kids today was even like, my mom always says, what do you want for dinner? I was like, welcome to being a mom.
Yeah. But then if mom didn't say, what do you want for dinner? Then the kid would be like, what are we having for dinner?
Exactly. And that's another thing, I think, gathering around the table in regards to taste, if we're still on that. Gathering, actually sitting down, and we certainly can't do it every night of the week, but we try for most nights. Having an actual meal with your family at the table, without the TV. I usually have something like jazz or something going on, but it's a time of day where we can actually be together, talk about our day, be a family. I think it's very important, and that if Satan's attacking even things like that, taking it away, don't let him.
Yeah, Seth and I even have made it a point with it just being us two, especially now, is we don't sit at the dining room table per se, but every night we do sit at our kitchen island, which is basically a table.
Yeah.
And we can see each other across because we both sit on the ends, but there's nothing else on. Our phones are out, but we're not grabbing them.
Right.
And it's just nice.
That is a dining table.
Yeah.
I mean, just wherever you are sitting together and having a meal, that's it. Where did we leave off?
We were taste.
Okay, so we needed you.
We did smell, taste,
hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and Kylie knows.
I don't know.
You know. Okay, so you know some of these habits of mine. 'Cause remember one time you even said to me, they were like, do you just like find this on YouTube? And I was like, yes. That ambiance
Oh,
stuff.
I love those. I'm hooked now.
I know, right?
That's all my YouTube is.
Me too. So like
subscribe.
Like a year and a half ago, I started discovering on YouTube all these, they call it like ambiance videos. So there's like Fall Cafe Jazz, or there's Hagrid's Hut.
Yes.
And it's just these wonderful either sounds or background music that is just so peaceful.
It is.
Even Jesse, again, he's never said it, but Saturday morning, he's usually out before me.
Yeah.
He comes down here himself.
Yeah.
Lights the candle and puts on the morning jazz. Because that's the atmosphere we've cultivated. That is home to him. And I mean, I started it, so I'm not saying he's copying me, but it makes me happy that he intentionally goes and does that. Like he feels like this means, I'm home. I can sit down. Yeah. I love it.
Oh my gosh, guys, can we sidetrack real quick?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about these ambiance. I'm seriously like addicted. Every time I see like 5 or 6 in a row by the same person, or like the same whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I subscribe to it because it's so good. I finally found, hang on. First of all, there's this one that if you like, it's more probably like science fiction-y type movies where they have like other worlds, and they always usually have a good soundtrack. Yeah. And so that's like there's a bunch of like the Harry Potter ones, Outlander. I love Outlander music.
That's really pretty.
And there's the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. They're all so good. Yeah. But so I love that. But right now, this I usually do that in like summer, spring. But I'll do those in the fall and winter too. But in the fall and winter, there's always really good Christmas and fall ones. Yes. There's one I finally found, and it's an outside atmosphere because there is the coffee shops one. But I'm like, I'm not a coffee. I love coffee shops, but I want outdoors. Something different. Yeah. I want outdoors. Yeah, and that's where I tend to like want to go anyway. So naturally, I guess that's just what I want on my screen. And so I found some that's always next to like a river or a lake.
Yes.
And they're outside on like a porch. There's always a fire going, and they have jazz music or something type of music over it, or chimes. I'm like, oh,
you guys,
it's amazing.
I kid you not.
And they have Christmas ones too.
It is just the perfect background to doing life at home.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's not anything you have to sit. It's not flashy. It's just
they have a random cat sometimes.
Yeah.
Seth was laughing at the cat.
Yeah, sometimes that's a little hokey. But if there's a like Kylie was saying, I guarantee you, say you love Lord of the Rings, YouTube Lord of the Rings ambiance background or something like that. It'll come right up. It will come right up, and I find myself putting it on and just cooking, cleaning, whatever I need to do, and it just adds this element of enjoyment to the mundane.
And then if you look up at the black TV on the wall, oh, it's a pretty picture.
Oh, hey, and another thing, to go back to Sight, another YouTube
We're still on Sight.
This is hearing.
Oh, this is hearing.
It's okay.
Never mind.
It's okay, because this one doesn't have any sound. There is a YouTube channel called Vintage Art.
Oh, I've seen these.
It is awesome. It will be, so my TV is mounted, as many of ours is, and sometimes I just get sick of seeing it black. It is artwork that doesn't move. It looks like a huge picture on the wall. So they have a new spooky one I haven't put up yet. So sometimes I'll put that up and just like have something else playing. Yeah. Or a podcast.
Okay, so they also make TV frames. That makes it look like a picture frame.
Yes.
And so now I understand how they do it. There is a YouTube channel for it. But the frame, they buy the frame. So, you know how yours is kind of tilted out. So basically you make it lay more flat.
And make it look like a picture.
And
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it because, I mean, a black TV, it doesn't really bother me, but sometimes
yeah.
I like old things, so
yeah.
I tend to go that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a new house, whatever.
That's exciting.
So my last thing I have to say for fall is the Charlie Brown. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown soundtrack.
Yes.
I grew up listening to Charlie Brown. I remember my mom's, like, when I asked her when I could finally buy Christmas presents, maybe like 13 or 14, she actually said, I want the Charlie Brown Christmas album.
Yeah.
So that's just been like this soundtrack of my childhood.
Yeah.
And YouTube it. You can hear the whole thing, and Paige and I can quote like what's happening in the show along with it. Oh. It's just it's got the perfect combination of jazz and spooky and all.
And this nostalgia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Simpler times.
I love it.
See, I mean, we're getting worked up talking about these things that bring us comfort and calm.
Well, Charlie Brown is just so awesome.
He's the epitome. I mean, it just makes me long for simpler times. So then if I start going that way, I'm like, but that's exactly what I can create in my home. I don't need to long for that. I can create it.
Yes.
So what did we leave out? We've done 4. Did we do them all?
We did.
Touch. This one's obviously the hardest. Fluffy blankets.
Fuzzy socks.
That's forever going to be a joke now.
Yes.
And, warm mugs.
Hey, it could be your dog or your cat.
Absolutely.
Next to you.
Snuggling on the couch.
Yep.
With your husband or your kids. Yep, here's Penny. So,
or fuzzy sweaters.
Fuzzy sweaters. Yeah, you get excited to switch out all that summer stuff for your fall stuff.
Warm, bulky. I like bulky sweaters.
Yeah.
I always like the seasons where I put more clothes on.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I have to present today, and just embrace your calling, embrace fall, embrace the holidays, be the person that goes above and beyond.
Yeah.
Serving your family, it's not to be selfish, but yourself. Like, love yourself enough to come home to a place you love.
Yeah. And
like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're living in a dream world if you think your house is ever going to be perfect.
Even
give yourself grace.
Even when it's just so, our household went from 6 all the time to 2, and 2 adults, mind you, and obviously, and
tons of animals,
But I think you almost I don't know if I want to say overestimate, like the fact of if you don't even yourself put things away right away, how much quickly it collects.
Yes.
Just when it's just 2 people.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because I could tell, like, when our boys first went back, that we kind of let our guard down a bit.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, maybe it wasn't just the boys.
Yeah, you just kind of relaxed it.
Yes.
Honest. And there's that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
But that makes me think, like, you could keep a perfect house, but if you're a tyrant the whole time you're doing it, you're not making an atmosphere of comfort at home. So there are things more important than cleanliness.
Yeah.
If you're doing it and you're
constantly
making everyone miserable, then that's not serving.
No.
So we can look at Proverbs 31. Should we read the whole thing? The virtuous. I really have struggled saying words lately. I'm serious.
I couldn't say. Oh, I couldn't. That doesn't matter.
Like
it was like double S's.
My brain. This is the brain thing. My brain went down. Like the path. See, I can't even find the word path. Like, why am I struggling so much saying certain things? Is it because there's iron in my water? Because I drink a lot of water. So I started Googling the health effects.
Oh my gosh.
And then I started Googling, like, how to get iron out of water.
$10,000.
It's $780. I know, and I told Jesse we're going to buy it after Christmas. I really don't think that's why my brain is messed up, but that can be it.
Actually, it's probably just adjusting still.
I think so, but I had nothing. When you're sub-high school, it is not the same. You don't do anything. You just sit there. So I was like, oh no. There's something wrong with me.
Yeah, that's why I always make sure I have lots of stuff to do.
I brought things. Still didn't do it. Okay, let's look at Proverbs 31. So this King Solomon wrote Proverbs, and he was known as the wisest man on earth who has ever lived. Mm-hmm. If he found it important enough to write down a virtuous wife, I think it's pretty important. Mm-hmm. So let's read it. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her worth is far above rubies. Think about that. You're worth more than treasure if you're a virtuous wife to your husband. Mm-hmm. The heart of her husband safely trusts in her, so that he will have no lack of gain. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and works willingly with her hands. You can push her down.
I kind of like it.
Okay. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night and gives food to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hand, she plants a vineyard. Stop right there. I think that specifically can speak to mothers who work. Mm-hmm. She's not just sitting at home. She's going herself and looking at that field and mm-hmm. buys it. She didn't go back to her husband. She bought it.
Yeah.
And she, with her hands, she plants the vineyard. Mm-hmm. She's working.
Yep.
She clothes herself with strength and strengthens her arms. She perceives that her merchandise is good. Her candle does not go out by night. She lays her hand to the spindle, and her hand holds the distaff. Is that a discipline reference?
It sounds like it would be.
I think so. She stretches out her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. And scarlet back then was like the best of the best cloth you could buy. So she's not only clothing them, she's making sure that her family is clothed in quality. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes in Christianity we fall into, well, I don't care. Obviously we're not materialistic, but there's also nothing wrong with taking care of someone well. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Yeah. She makes herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Can I stop there? I'm so tired, and I'm totally going to copy Homemaker Chic right now, but I am so tired of the hot mess mom or wife.
Yes.
Like, obviously there are days where I'm putzing around in my yoga pants. And I think Kylie can vouch, but more often than not, I don't.
Right.
I take the time to put myself together, because if mama's not together, and if I don't feel like I can be presentable, I cannot explain it. I feel crappy about myself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, even an extension, like, what am I even doing here? My house, my life. Yeah. That seems so over dramatic, but I kid you not. If I do not get up and get ready, it's not good. Yeah. And even my kids, when I was sick last week, they do not like it when I am down for the count. Mm-hmm. Like, Mom, they will say, are you better yet? Because I'm in my sweats, mm-hmm. I'm laying on the couch, and Paige is even like, we all just fall apart when you're sick. And I kind of take that to heart. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what I am doing here is important and it
Yeah.
affects them.
Yeah.
So, anywho, just put some jeans on. Okay. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes fine linen and sells it, and delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she will rejoice in time to come. So she's preparing for the future. She doesn't fear. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the teaching of kindness. That I need to do better with. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but you excel them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. She will be praised because of the work she's done.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot to dissect there, and you could probably do a whole episode on that, but we're long enough.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Good stuff.
I hope so.
I think it's just like going back to even like just talking about the hot mess mom thing. I think it's even if you wear yoga pants, make it look nice.
Yes.
They have nice things. Like I know some people.
I have them on right now.
That's your work attire.
Yeah.
See?
With my tunic and my necklace.
Yeah.
And my earrings.
See, you can be comfy but cute. Like it's really not that hard. Or it's even like I don't have makeup on. I didn't put makeup on today.
You don't need it.
But I feel confident enough, in it. My hair's gross because of recess and wind blowing around, but I did brush out my hair. I put on some comfy, nice clothes to go and work for the day.
I think it's a cop-out almost today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I gotta be comfortable, so I gotta look frumpy.
Yeah.
There are ways to be comfortable and still look nice.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're not trying to put anyone down. We're
No.
trying to encourage you.
Yes.
Like, you can do this.
Yes. Joggers.
Yes.
That's a perfect. This is actually my cop-out outfit.
That's really cute.
So I'm just like sweater, my joggers, this whatever t-shirt thing. It's different material.
Like a silk blouse.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know what material It's not like I don't know how to get it to you. What? I don't know what material that would be.
I don't know.
Like a wick.
Yeah, it's not silk, but it's like a wicking material.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
But so this is like my I'm on my period outfit. Let's just say
It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable,
Yeah.
but yet I feel put together.
That's a whole nother
Because
thing.
there's a structure to the outfit.
Yes.
When I wear baggy sweatpants, I don't even really have like a true baggy pair of sweatpants now that I think about it anymore. But when I wear those, I just feel disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say anything. But if I feel that, then I'm not going to be, it shows when you can, even though you think you're concealing things,
It shows.
It shows through one way or another.
Again, like I think we've said enough. We're not here to condemn. We're kind of here to encourage and inspire you to do better because actually we love you.
Yeah.
So
and it helps us. So we want to share that.
Yeah,
with you.
And I think the period thing brings up a whole nother point. Sorry, men, but
I think it's like my dad and Bruce.
Okay. And Jesse. But there are days you're gonna be killing it and everything, and there are days you're not, and just give yourself grace.
Yes,
it's like your period. I'm never very productive at that time.
And literally every week of the month for a woman, your hormones are
doing
different.
Something different.
And so there are weeks. One week you'll be like, I got 100 things done.
I am on it.
I am on it. The next week I got 2 things done this whole week.
Yeah. Mine has been the commitments outside of huge commitments, like the festival, the wedding, these things that are coming up. And I'm like always getting ready for something huge. Yes. And it's kind of paralyzing me around the house, and I need to, I need to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like tonight after this, I'm going to make a quick meat sauce that's super simple. That's the thing too with cooking, you guys. It doesn't have to be a gourmet meal for it to be good.
No.
My kids love a simple spaghetti with meat sauce.
Yeah.
So we're doing that, and I'm going to be cleaning my house.
Yeah.
So
it's a great day to do it.
It is.
Breezy.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much. And we actually have a couple guests coming, in the near future. So we'll have another guest on here soon. And I don't know if it'll be this next one, but either it will be surprise it is this next one, or it might be us again bringing you a new topic.
Sounds good.
So if you guys actually ever think of a topic you want us to talk on, just let us know.
Yeah.
We love to do that because sometimes we can't think everything through.
Yeah.
But until next time, we'll talk to you guys, and much love and God bless you.
Amen.
Woohoo! Mom and Dad said they'd come on.
Oh, good.
So
That'd be great.
yeah.